Hey you guys, it's Britt. Tonight I'm here to talk to you about Zoe Laverne. She's a young TikToker, a new mom, and she decided to sell pictures of her newborn baby. I had a few thoughts, so if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so I'm sure a lot of you probably haven't heard of Zoe Laverne. She's not someone that I've discussed on my channel before. However, this story is blowing up. A lot of people are talking about it, and I wanted to share my thoughts for what they're worth. Those of you who want to listen to them, I appreciate you guys, but here's the general synopsis of this. Zoe Laverne is a 20-year-old TikToker. She's been on the internet for quite some time. She was in a scandal previously because she was caught kissing a 13-year-old boy, which obviously he's a minor. That's very weird. Why is this even being put onto the internet? It's gross. Last year in November of 2020, when that happened, she apologized, and just like everything else on the internet, it kind of went away. And depending on who you are, some people might have continued to think about it and talk about it, but as far as the internet as a whole, they discussed it for a very short blip in history, and then it was life goes on. So shortly after she got herself out of that web of a mess, she announced that she was pregnant. Now, Zoe is engaged, and her fiance's name is Dawson Day. Dawson is 21. I'm not going to mention the other boy that she got in trouble with, his name, because he was a minor, he still is a minor, and if you're interested, you can go look at that story, but it's not really super relevant to this precise situation that we're talking about. So she ended up getting pregnant by Dawson. They are currently engaged. She does refer to him as her fiance. And here's the thing with this whole, they're very young. I personally feel like when it comes to really young kids, putting everything on social media, getting engaged young, having children young, continuing to share everything on social media, I can only imagine what it's like for her mental health. And this is also another reason why I'm not going to, completely just like hit her at the knees and be really rude. I'm never really rude in my commentary, but a part of me, does put myself in her shoes at the age of 20 years old. And my life was not on social media at the age of 20. And I already had so much happening, so many emotions. I was with a douchebag of a guy who was mistreating me, and that was a lot on my mental health. And then trying to keep up with friends and all of this, it's a mess. So I could only imagine what her life is like. And before I go the rest of the way with this story, I just want to say that when it comes to doing commentary specifically on kids in between the ages of 18 and 23, I would say, I really hope that everyone handles situations like this sort of with just a little bit of extra compassion. I'm not saying that, these influencers shouldn't be discussed, but I also put myself in her shoes, and I can only imagine kind of where her mental headspace is at. So that's just kind of a side note. I really wanted to say that in this video. So she's engaged to this guy Dawson, and she ends up having her baby. She ended up putting up a video and kind of showing her belly. I think this was a few days ago. So she puts up the video showing her belly and telling her followers on TikTok that she is going to be induced. And then the next video is her in the hospital. She does it's the Kevin Hart voiceover. I don't want to be here, I want to go home. That voiceover, I'm sure you guys have heard it. So then obviously sweet baby comes, and she decides to charge people $15 to see pictures of her baby. And There's so many things that are wrong with this. First of all, you're a brand new mom. Why don't you enjoy this one-on-one time with your infant? Not put anything on social media. If you're going to take photos, they can be for you, your fiance, your husband, and maybe your close friends. There is no need, and I know that this is an argument that people try to make. I know it's your body, your choice. That applies to every single one of us. However, when it comes to exploiting your pregnancy for money and views on YouTube, let's just take the money part out of it, because this is something that some people seem to not understand. Let's just talk about using it for views. That can still be exploitive in nature, where you are using having a baby in order to get traction on your channel. You're collecting followers, you're collecting future subscribers to watch your future content based off of showing the world your labor and delivery. It's weird, and I don't think that I'll ever agree with it. Of course, I can't tell you guys how I'm going to feel in 5 years. But typically the way that I look at things is the way that I look at them. There are very few things that I sway on unless there is totally new information that comes out. But when it comes to using it for money and or views, to me, it's gross. And even if you want to take the money argument out of it, it still applies, because you are using it in order to get traction and grow your social media following. Even if you say, oh, I'm sharing the experience. Oh, I want to share this for other new parents. I call BS. I just don't think that people are out here posting their labor and delivery vlogs for education or for other people to simply watch them go through this experience. I think that it is, it's a business move. You're building your business by showing this to the world. So, and as with everything else on social media, Zoe got called out, and this is a brand new video, so I want to play this. I have not listened to it yet. I want to play it because someone in the comments said, there's no valid excuse for what you did. Selling pictures of your child online is child endangerment, and it's so dangerous. You should not. So let's see what she has to say in response.
Yes, there is no excuse for what I did, but I didn't sell any pictures of my daughter in that way. That wasn't what I was trying to do. That wasn't what I was trying to get at.
Okay, but you were selling pictures for $15. So if you were not selling the pictures for $15, then what is it that you were doing?
This is so frustrating. I didn't even want to do it in the first place.
You didn't want to do it in the first place, but you did. You made the decision to post it. So if you didn't want to do it and it was so wrong and so against your morals, then why was it posted?
But as a new time mom, I was scared to post her face at first because of the threats and stuff that she received. So I
hate when influencers do this. They automatically, instead of listening and focusing on this comment, it automatically goes over to, my child is receiving threats, people are coming for my child, people are coming for my brand new baby. Here's the thing. I know that a lot of people are very ruthless and cruel online. However, there are a very, very, very tiny, microscopic percentage of people who will say things to a child because it's useless. What is the point of attacking a child? If you are attacking a child instead of giving criticism or feedback to the influencer, then you need help and you need to log offline. But I do believe, in my personal opinion, even if it's unpopular, I don't care, this is a tactic that they use in order to get the heat off of them and gain sympathy from people who will listen to this and say, oh my God, who would send threats to a child? That's so wrong. Let's give her a pass. And like I always say, if it's a repeated behavior of, constantly being in scandals, constantly scamming your fans, constantly being, rude, constantly being money hungry or exploitive in nature. These are patterns of behavior that need to be, paid attention to. And in this situation, people were paying attention to it. They decided to call it out, and she wants to just go right around that, and let's just focus on these alleged threats that her infant was getting, which I still have a very hard time believing that there's that many people that would send threats to an infant or a young child. I realize that there are probably some, but it is such a small handful. You cannot blame everything on these very, very, very tiny group of people who might be saying some things that are completely out of line and unnecessary.
I looked at it like that, didn't think about it in any other wrong way that it could have been looked at, and I'm sorry. None of the money that I made off of it is going to me. It's going to Emerson's needs and her hospital bill from being lifelined, because she had to be lifelined. She was in the NICU, and she still is in the NICU. It was all for her medical bills, and the rest of the money I am donating to mothers and children who...
Okay, so I don't know anything about her, finances or her healthcare plan, but A, do you have insurance, and did your insurance cover what it needed to cover as far as, the infant's needs? That would be my first question. And to me, and from my seat, this is not someone who desperately needs extra money. And even if you did, why not take your innocent child out of the picture? Because if there was extra income that was needed for the hospital bill, your child did not consent to being the cash cow the moment that she was brought into this world. That's the problem.
Need it, because I know what it feels like to have complications like during your birth and stuff. So I'm sorry again.
Allegedly, she's going to use the money that she did make for her own hospital bills and donating the rest. Anytime someone says, and this is just me over here in my little corner, anytime an influencer says that they are donating to a cause or donating to a charity, I want to see proof, because based on my time online, I have seen a lot of influencers make this claim and they never show where the money goes. They never show the receipts or the proof of where the money went to. Now, I could just be a little scarred. I've been on YouTube for a long time, and I've seen quite a few scandals and scams go through influencers where it's, oh, we're going to donate to this cause, and then it's never heard from again. If you guys follow drama tea channels, they've covered it over the years. There have been plentiful, so I'm not even going to name names right now. The overall problem with this situation is obviously that the moment that she could, she decided to attach a price tag to allowing people on the internet to see photos of her child. I do believe that this just goes back to show how, for a lot of influencers, I'm not going to say all of them because that would be unfair, but for a lot of them, the income that they can make off the backs of their children, the maximum cash profit that they can make off of sharing inappropriate details of their life or their children's lives, like we see a lot of the family vloggers vlogging emergency room trips, their children getting hurt, their children crying, having meltdowns, and instead of being one-on-one and being the protector, the parent, the role model, the guiding light for their children, they automatically pick up the camera and figure out how they can monetize this so that they can make more income and more money off the backs of their children, even if it is monetizing periods, bra shopping. We know the whole list. It goes on, and it is highly inappropriate. I will always use my platform to call out this behavior, and it needs to be talked about. So I'm glad that she did address it. I also think that her explanation of this was not, it didn't help her situation, because most people, especially if they're not young, and a lot of her fans are young, most adults will still look at this situation and look at it for what it was. You wanted to sell photos of your baby for the internet's viewing pleasure, which is so creepy and gross, and it got called out. So all my criticism put aside, I want to send my well wishes to Zoe, Dawson, and their sweet little baby. I hope that everything is going well. I know that, you know, it can be a lot dealing with the internet, as well as being a new mom and also being as young as she is. So I can imagine that it's a handful. But when you look at the situation like that, it might also be an opportunity to not put everything online and actually spend time with your fiance and your new baby instead of figuring out how you can make an extra buck by sharing pictures with the internet. So that's going to be it for today. If you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.